Hello guys, welcome back, and today we're gonna be talking about Hero of Remnant. But before we actually start, um, it seems like there's only one, or at least one, not really one, but more like two people that actually voted for, you know, for my what ifs that are going to be next in line for um, after a few days of this what if as well with also with Fate Remnant Collide, being that of the what ifs that I suggested in that one video, which you already know from last video, which I told you about. Anyway, basically, I asked for for all of you guys to basically pick two different what ifs, being that of you know basically a what if about either Izuku or an OC or a new MC, basically going to either Azure Lane as like an as the Elden Lord from wait for a second, where he's basically basically one of the what ifs is basically Azure Lane, but except the MC, or I guess you can say sort of either the MC or Izuku Midoriya, aka Deku, again becoming an Elden Lord from the game Elden Ring, or the other being that of a story of either Izuku or a new MC, or basically an OC, basically going to Senran Kagura, aka a new series that I started getting into, mostly for the fandom and also some of the cute girls. Yeah, don't judge me for that. Anyway, continue on as we see him basically getting the powers, or at least having the demon summoning app from Shin Megami Tensei. So yeah, that is basically it. So, but the only thing is, only two people actually voted for these two specific what ifs, being that of the being that of the Elden Ring slash Azure Lane one, and the other one being the demon summoning app slash Senran Kagura what if. So, I just made a tiebreaker, guys. So just comment down below on this video. So yeah, so let's continue on to the actual story, shall we? So, we move on to just a time skip where we currently see Ezekiel now packing everything up for Beacon, as he's currently 17 and he's currently wearing this. So, we would currently see Ezekiel wearing this. And if you're wondering why does he look like this, well, I basically based it off of every single member of the Ten Commandments, or at least ones that wear clothes. Like for example, you know, Zeldris, Zeldris, and mainly, or at least sort of mainly, Melascula, because of the whole bow tie and almost suit like design. And also the reason why I did this is because, well, I think it was quite cool. And if you're wondering, well, the reason why I also decided to do this as well is because, well, I originally wanted to make a what if about, Izuku being in, just being in the My Hero Academia verse, but with the Ten Commandments powers, but I decided, I prefer like what ifs about like Izuku going to another world or another universe with different powers, to be more specific. So yeah, that is why I decided to do this. So, anyway, continue on. As we currently see Izuku finishing, packing things up as he would see his dad, aka Ironwood. As Ironwood would be there, just waiting for him, as he would say this. Izuku, as he would say this. Yeah, Dad, he would say, as he would say this. Hurry up, we're gonna be leaving soon, he would say. As he would say this. Oh, right, he would say. As after that, he would get all of his things as Izuku would start leaving. After arriving where his dad is, as he would say this, come on, let's go, he would say. As after saying that, he would start getting into a large, vehicle as he would start leaving to go to where the... Wait for a second. So, while they're basically being, transported towards the... basically where where the transport based, what's that called? Yeah, Bullhead, you would finally arrive as Izuku would say this. So, guess this is goodbye, Dad, he would say. As he would say this. Hmm. There's no need to be upset. After all, I am gonna be going there to the, you know, going there to Vale when it's finally time, or at least when it's almost time for the festival, he would say. As he would say this. Oh, um, okay, Dad, I sort of kind of forgot, he would say. As he would say this. "Hmm, as my son, I want you to be protected." And so, he would say, as he would give him a special, a special scroll. As he would say this. This scroll is specially made for you. It actually has special context towards the military and also me, he would say. As he would say this. Is this a bit much, he would say? As he would say this. I wouldn't want it to be, well, too careful, he would say. As he would say this. Um, sure, Dad, he would say. As after saying that, his dad would say this, or Ironwood. Alright, please be careful. Also, love you, he would say. As he would say this. Oh, um, love you too, Dad, he would say. As after that, he would leave. As another car would drive by, or at least another vehicle, as the vehicle would open up, showing off Weiss. As Weiss would appear with her sword, being that of, I think it was called, yeah, the name of her signature rapier is that of Murtonaster. As he would say this. Hmm, you look kinda cute, he would say. As she would say this. Um, thank you, Izuku, she would say with a shy look. As her butler would appear, as he would say this. Mistress Weiss, he would say. As she would say this. Oh, yes, my bags. Could you please take them into the bullhead, she would say. As he would say this. Hmm, very well, he would say. As he would look towards Izuku, as he would say this. May I help you, young master, he would say. As he would say this. Oh, don't worry, I'll just do it by myself, he would say. As he would grab his bags, as he would start putting them on his back. As, Weiss would say this. Isn't that a bit heavy, she would say. As he would say this. Oh, don't worry. It's pretty light to me, he would say. As she would say this. Suit yourself then, she would say. Because after that, after putting their bags in the bullhead, they would start leaving to to, well, go to Vale. So, wait for a second. So, after about a few hours of basically staying in the bullhead, a few other students arrive, as we currently see Izuku and, Weiss sitting together. As Weiss would say this. It feels absolutely nice, she would say to herself. Feeling, Izuku basically, right beside her, as Izuku would say this to himself. And what we're going to do in Vale, he would say. As one of them, specifically one of his, friends on his mind, or at least one of his allies in his mind, being that of Fraudrin. As Fraudrin would say this. Hmm. If I'm guessing, it's probably similar to the Holy Knight selection. Or at least, in my world, he would say. As he would say this. Really? As he would say this. Yes. It would definitely be similar, but I'm not really sure. Hmm. But I did hear, or at least sort of heard, is that apparently, after looking through your memories, is apparently something about this initiation where we had to go through a forest and fight off against Grim, and we're supposed to get this relic of sorts, he would say. As Izuku would say this. I see. So we're supposed to fight off Grim and try to find the relic, he would say. As after Izuku said that, he would say this. Yes, that is precisely it, he would say. As after that, they would continue on basically listening, as after a while he would hear the sound of someone barfing. As he would say this. Huh. Guess somebody has sickness, some sort of like travel sickness or something, he would say. As he would hear a few girls, or at least two girls, basically, yelling about the, the vomiting man. As after hearing that, they would finally arrive at Beacon. As while Izuku was there, he would notice Weiss basically, laying on on his shoulder, basically asleep. As Izuku would say this, guess time for me to wake her up, he would say. As Izuku would start shaking her a little bit, as he would say this, hey, Weiss, he would say, as Weiss would wake up as she would say this. Huh? Oh, um, oh, I'm really sorry, she would say, as he would say this. Oh, don't worry. Besides, it was just a minor convenience, he would say. A minor inconvenience, he would say. As after saying that, she would say this. Oh, I see, she would say, as Izuku would say this. Alright, it seems that we're here in Beacon now. Let's get out, he would say, as she would say this. Right, she would say, as after saying that, they would start leaving. So, they would start traveling with each other to basically go to the actual, wait for a second, to start going to the amphitheater. So, after a while of walking, Izuku and her would basically be together, as, Weiss would just be there going all, fangirl crazy in her mind, as a few people would notice them. Some of them already know about Izuku because of his name, Izuku Ironwood, and they know about him basically being the quote unquote son of Ironwood. And not only that, being powerful to basically beat up, several high level huntsmen, even if he's even though he's just merely a kid and a huntsman in training back then. As some of the people there were basically whispering, saying, "Can't believe Ironwood's child is here," said one of them. As one of them would say this, "I heard that apparently he's actually going to be staying in this school because of Ironwood deciding to let him stay here because of his training." As one of them would say this, "Yeah, and I heard that they're planning to also try and to fight even a lot of people. Even heard that he's planning to even beat up, some teachers," said one of them. As one of them would say this, "I also heard that he's apparently going to be dating, and apparently he's dating, Vaishni," said one of them. As one of them would say this, "Well, it would make sense," said, one of them, as Weiss would just be giggling while listening to this. As after a while, basically going to the school, Izuku Izuku would say that he's going to be going somewhere for a while. As after doing so, he would say goodbye to Weiss, as Weiss would just be a little bit disappointed, but would understand, you know, understand it a little. As after doing so, Izuku would start going by himself to try and find, a way to go to the amphitheater by himself, as he would think, "I still can't believe that I'm actually going to be, marrying her," he would say. As one person would say that specifically, being that of Derry, as she would say this. "Why? Are you perhaps shy?" she would say. As you would say this. "Well, yeah," he would say. As one of them would say this, specifically, being that of Droll, as he would say this. Even though you're a great warrior in combat, you're still pretty much shy against women," he would say. As he would say this. "Well, it's quite, um, understandable," he would say. As one of them specifically Esterosa would say this. "Hey, at least try to be a little bit more confident in yourself. I mean, you're basically beating down anybody that dare try to defy you," he would say. As he would say this. "Well, I mean, they were just asking for it, but still." As one of them would say this, specifically, Esterosa once again, as he would say this. "Hey, just be confident in yourself. And besides, the little wise chick over there, she's certainly quite quite the looker," he would say. As he would say this, "Please do not talk about, you know, please do not talk about Weiss like that," he would say. As one of them specifically Zeldris would say this. "Yeah, I think it's time for you to stop, Esterosa," he would say. As he would say this. Fine, big brother," he would say. As he would say this. "Anyway, you should probably get back to her. It's probably going to be very important for both of you to start leaving together," he would say. As he would say this. "Oh, right." um, yeah, he would say. As after arriving back, he would see Weiss and a red cloaked girl basically, well, together. As Weiss seems to be fighting her. As Izuku would just be there confused, as you would notice a large crater that's basically where they're sitting in. So yeah, I'm probably gonna be ending this episode right off here. So yeah, so before you guys leave, just remember the whole thing from the start. Okay, bye.